All right. Um, so previously, the group of you have successfully returned to the South of Elderthorn. You made a bargain with Yerl, the Beholder, at the ruins of Urkrept in the desert. Where the desert's located, you know not. But this place that you now have access to through the henges at Matron Toadtooth's land has been agreed upon to be Yerl's domain and him to act as mayor for it. Hopefully a better mayor than the last one you've encountered. You've returned now to a surprisingly warm welcome, even for you, Dunnan. Like, warm is not something that you would have expected. It seems that the news of Tadell's treachery upon the town has broken. The word of her crimes has spread, and the information of who so delivered her justice has spread along with it. And you spent the evening, after walking back with Siegfried's father, getting bought drinks, clapped on the back, congratulated, being told they never doubted you for a second, meaning they probably doubted you the entire time. But the welcome is warm, nonetheless. Is there anything that the group of you wanted to accomplish that evening prior to retiring? Well, you think on that. Aeolus, you were
Yes.
separated out from the group when you returned to Blackburn Keep. Uh, so we're going to be starting with you. The rest of them all went to the Fated Gate Inn, amongst other stops, and they ended up there in the evening. Captain Storm Surge, after showing them out, pulls you aside. Look, the village council just wants to make sure that everything's on the up and up. Um, you willing to allow them to ask you a couple questions underneath some magical precautions?
Of course.
Okay. I'll let them know that you're back in town. Pop by tomorrow by yourself and we'll head over. Um, it shouldn't take too long. I don't want to draw you away from, I don't know if you know, but it's going to be a lot of supporters. And hopefully some good fortune come of this. Uh, we have started trying to rebuild your home, but it'll be a few weeks. Um, you're welcome to stay here at the keep if you need a spot to rest.
Thank you, Captain.
All right. Go and enjoy your evening. I'll see you tomorrow after lunch.
And Aeolus heads out.
Okay. Was there anywhere in particular, Aeolus, that you wanted to go after this?
Um, Nothing that can't be tackled tomorrow. I
Okay.
think I would stop by the ruins of my house and just hang around there for a bit.
Okay. You stop by, because it has been better part of 6, 7 days since the fire at this point. Um, almost 8. Uh, the remains have been cleared. And where the plot is, there's now the frame of a very modest, sort of 2-room style house. But it's being put together.
Okay. Um, before Aeolus heads to the to the tavern, I would like to grab something out of my pocket and just push it into the dirt next to the house.
Anything in particular?
Yes, I will whisper it.
Okay. Well, after you do this, you can make your way to the Fated Gate and enjoy a evening of rabble rousing with your companions. The rest of you, while Aeolus was out with Storm Surge before he arrives at the tavern as well, is there anything else that you wanted to accomplish here?
Well, I would have just had a talk with him, but since he's not there, I would turn to Helerest and Sigve and say, you know, after some thinking, maybe we should stay the bloody Metox. I think bloody wise Metox is a little bit too much. But we could give each other some code names. Like, you would be the bone dog, Helerest, because you like to play around with bones. And then Willem could be the shadow dog. And I think Geodas would be the dying dog because he, he's down very often. Not very sturdy. Any thoughts on that?
I've been called worse than Bone Dog.
It's just the
If you want me
idea.
to do it, I'll answer to it.
It's just an idea because bloody wise mad dogs is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like it though.
And you already started with the song, Siegfried, so I think we should
I already
stick.
changed the lyrics and everything.
Yeah, no. And is Booker here?
She's about, yeah. You can get her attention easily enough.
If she has a quiet minute, I'll just turn to her.
Yeah.
Booker, what do you know about, I mean, you know her for sure, but can you tell me something about Emile? Is she always working? Doesn't she rest? Does she ever come here?
Emil? No, she doesn't cook my at all. More often than not, her brothers came here, taking some food, taking it to her, and then brought the bowl back about 3 hours later.
Oh, I tried to invite her, but she harshly brushed me off.
Oh, that doesn't sound like her at all. Why would she be interested in a lout like you?
Yeah. What's there not to like? I mean, I'm famous now. Look around, everybody loves us now. She will come around.
As Buga sets another tankard in front of you, it says, "There's a difference between fame and affection. Do you want some goulash too?"
Sure. Yes, I've always space for some more food. Can you give me any advice on how to approach her?
As
Maybe talk to her brother?
As she turns and is slopping some of the goulash into a bowl before setting it down in front of you. As best advice, pick a different lady.
But she's fairy temperament and she knows how to handle a hammer. I mean, what's there not to like? A dwarf can't ask for more. I'm very, very
She sort of looks at you
set on.
very seriously and says, I think she's very particular about the tools that she works with, and I don't think you have the right set.
I will come up with something. If not, I'm very stubborn, and I can get very.
Roll me an insight check.
It's a- I can
Ellerast is
get very
listening to this.
creative.
Please roll one. Please roll one.
Yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
It takes you longer than you would have preferred into this conversation, Dunnan, before you realize that Buka is trying to subtly tell you that Emil's gay.
I'll talk to her brother. Maybe she has an idea, but not all hope's lost. We'll see. Do you know any other dwarven ladies around here?
There's a few. Wander
You know
around the
what?
Market March.
Next time I'll
Go
get
shopping.
You give me a list, alright?
If I'm playing matchmaker for you, you're paying me more. She walks away.
Okay. I just wanted to procure a gold coin, but alright. Don't know. He shrugs. Yeah, it was worth the try. Oh, there is Eolas. And I wink over.
I see. You wasted absolutely no time.
What? Wasted what? Time? Why should I? I don't know
So,
what you mean.
what's everyone's next step?
Well, we spoke with Gogron, and he said if we wanted to find out about the history of the orcs, there's a tribe that's wintering by the Sanguine River.
Mm-hmm.
He said that we should maybe go and speak to one of their shamans. They may have more information on, what we've been working on. Siegfried is looking around, trying not to say
Right.
it out loud. And then also, it seems like was it the who was talking about Dunnan's two friends that they ran into? Was it the mayor? The new mayor.
It was your father.
No, your father.
Oh yeah. Oh, apparently my father ran into two individuals Dunnan is currently looking for, and
They
Not
worked
actively looking.
and they worked most of the winter with him.
Yeah, and apparently it's very likely they're currently in the city of, I forget the name of the city. Sorry.
Armskirk.
Armskirk.
Armskirk. So yeah, I say that all to Aeolus, and I show him the map. They're both kind of in the same direction. I believe we'll be able to go to where the orcs are camped out and then hit the city afterwards. Because that's the Sanguine River.
Yeah.
And Armskirk is right there.
Yeah. For context, also, a league is 3 miles.
Yeah.
So, in any type of conditions that are at all affecting your pace of travel, you can usually travel about 2 hexes in a day, comfortably. 3 hexes is a little bit pushing it, unless the conditions are good. So, for example, traveling through the Pinwood, you'll cover 2 hexes in a day. If you get into the grasslands here beyond the Pinwood, conditions are significantly better, so you'll be able to travel about 3 in a day.
Yeah. I tell Aeolus, we could probably skirt around the edge of the Pinwood, and then it'll just be grassland for the rest of the way. At least that's my suggestion.
How long would it take us, actually? Like 3 to 4 weeks to travel
So
there?
that'd be 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days would get you to around about where Gogron described. You'd need to search the area up and down the Sanguine River, but you'd be looking at about 5 days of travel
By foot.
by foot. Yes.
Yeah, we're not gonna get horses here.
Not this time of year. If it was midsummer, you would be more likely to be able to rent beasts of burden from the local farmers around the Touth, as they would not be needing them to plow fields at that moment. But as it's still early-ish spring, they're all currently in use nearly every day, and it'd be a hard sell to try to find a farmer who will part with his mules or horses.
Yeah, they're all plowing and things like that. So, what do you think, Aeolus?
It would be a great exercise. Build up your stamina if you go by foot.
When were you planning on heading out?
I think next thing in the morning. We have no other plans.
Well, if you're here, it means that they haven't interviewed you yet, have they, Aeolus?
They haven't, and I have a few things to do.
I mean, I don't think there's any particular rush, and we're going to need to prepare. A 5-day trek across the grasslands, we're going to need food and gear, so why don't we take care of that in the morning? I'm sure Willem needs to buy a bunch of bacon and whatnot, and then we can try and leave in the evening or midday.
It sounds like a
Depending on
plan.
how long your interview goes, Aeolus.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Well, at least we got some ale this time to carry around.
They, Captain Storm Surge said that they only wanted you for the interview. Is that still the case?
Yes.
They told us to stay away from that.
I can handle myself.
Oh, did you find anything about your house? Are they rebuilding it?
Yes, it'll be a little bit, but the structure will be rebuilt.
That's good.
Siegfried,
Yes.
are you staying here or are you returning to Blackburn for the night?
I'm gonna return to the keep, and you can tell like Siegfried has only had like one drink basically, and just been playing the whole time. I'll head back to the keep. Is that where you're headed to?
Yes.
All right, let's go. Let's see you guys in the morning.
Sure. Have a good night.
Don't celebrate too heavily.
Me?
There's quite a bit of
Never.
travel.
Yeah. And when I leave, Donna's gonna order 5 more ales and gonna party with all the townspeople.
Nice. All right. Helras, do you do anything in that evening after Aeolus and Siegfried head out?
She's just gonna go off for a quiet walk by herself and try to connect with her spirit guide, her patron,
Okay.
and just see what they are saying. Not necessarily augury, but just a feeling.
Just spend some time in quiet reverie.
Yep.
Noted. It's peaceful for you. The evenings are still have a bit of a chill to them, but not unpleasantly so. And it passes by before you finally return and feel a comfortable peace settling into you. You fall asleep with wonder on your mind of what this old empire might have been, what it means for your people, your family. What heritage does that mean that you've lost? Settle into a comfortable sleep. Siegfried, Argolis. It's not a long walk back to Blackburn Keep. As you head out from the Faded Gate, the streets are quiet. The area is dark. And you start making your way. As you're crossing over the Choral Run, you hear the rushing water. The smell of spring is present in the air. The mixed new buds of flowers starting to bloom, heavily laden with the particular scent of petrichor of the surrounding lands. As you're both sort of walking lost in your own thoughts, both of you notice something notice the lack of something. The ever-present sound of the Choral Run, the river that runs through Elderthorn, is gone as you're both crossing the middle of the bridge. There's no sound of rushing water, as there should be.
Aeolus will put his hand up and will stop. Siegfried.
Yeah, Siegfried will just nod, and something's happening.
Where's the sound of the river?
While you're paused here for a moment, you both hear the flutter of feathers. Perched on the opposite side of the bridge, there's like the small wall that prevents things from carts and the like from being sidled over the edge. Perched on that is a seabird. Sort of looks like a grayish gull, if you want to picture something of that sort. With a long, narrow beak. Almost reminiscent of like a hummingbird's beak that is used for spearing small fish as it hunts.
Siegfried is immediately gonna cast Detect Magic.
Noted. The wave of this awareness expands out from you. Burning spell slot. Yes?
Yeah, I'm not doing a ritual, just casting it right away.
Sounds good. The gull has an aura of enchantment about it.
I just tell Aeolus, just something's obviously up with that gull.
Sort of waddles around for a moment.
Yeah.
Looks behind you. It looks like it's looking in either direction. Like it looks to the right, and then turns its back to you, and then looks around to the left, and then continues the rotation until it's staring directly at the two of you.
I speak to the bird in Druidic.
As you open your mouth to do so, the vision of the gull sort of twists and goes fuzzy for a moment. Its eyes black as they are, seem to grow in size, and in the center of its head opens a third eye out of nowhere, just into this perfect circle of yellowish gold. I need you both to make me a horror save. What are your bonuses?
I've got a -2.
I have -1.
You both fail. Both of you increase your horror save bonus for future checks by +1. Into your mind, these words are projected, forced in, like smoke seeping through the cracks in wood. Try as you might to keep it out, there's no way to prevent this assault. You have intrigued me. The deep welcomes you. Your acceptance is not required.
Are you hearing this?
The goal is gone.
Siegfried nods.
The sound of the troll run is present.
I think we may have proverbially stirred the hornet's nest, sir. And we just ran into one of the hornets.
I have to reach out to someone.
Okay. I'm just glad the others weren't with us. That was scary. I think I'm just gonna go back to my room.
Yeah. And
So when I
is
fail a
there...
horror save, it's like getting exhaustion, right?
So the horror save doesn't change and doesn't reset when you complete your long rest.
No,
So,
I mean, but there's some negative effects for failing one, right?
there are temporarily, yes.
Okay.
At that moment, the negative effects where you were, it was would have been disadvantage from attack rolls and ability checks. So it's the same effects as fear,
Yeah, okay.
like being
Right.
frightened condition, but it doesn't affect your movement.
Okay.
Like you can still move towards the cause of whatever has laid this condition upon you.
Okay.
It also lasts for a variable duration, depending on what triggered and caused the effect. This didn't seem to last that long.
Okay.
For context, the Needler, as the group of you have named it, I believe one of you was adversely affected by it, and that lasted longer than this did.
Okay.
said something about the deep Aeolus. Have you ever heard anything like that?
I haven't, no. Well, whatever it is, we angered it.
Or interested in, which might even be worse.
Well, hopefully we don't have any of those shadowy powers that Willem has. I think that may be the source of why he's so whiny.
He is a good researcher. I wouldn't. He's gonna be useful in the coming days.
He
Help
is.
me make some connections I wouldn't have been able to make otherwise.
He just... Now's not the time.
Actually, instead of going back to my bedroom, Siegfried would like to go to Bat's library now that he has access to it.
Okay.
And he wants to look up information on probably three things: Armskirk, the area around the Sanguine River, and try and find any reference to the words "the deep."
Okay.
And if it's investigation, he's gonna use enhance ability on himself.
All right. One moment. Making a note for that. Okay. So you head to the Late Bats Library.
Yep.
First up, we'll start with the latest of those. Room investigation check for the deep.
Okay.
And you said you wanted to use enhance ability.
Yep. I'm gonna do the intelligence one. I think it's Fox's Cunning.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And it's investigation.
Mm-hmm.
14.
Big advantage there.
Yeah.
How long do you intend on staying in the library? Do you plan to keep researching all of this stuff on your mind and
I think after that encounter, Siegfried is just gonna stay up and probably pass out in the library.
Good.
But
Fantastic.
He's just gonna fall asleep at his desk.
Noted.
Yeah.
You spend the better part of 2 hours poring over books, tomes, and scrolls that mention various title patterns that Bat's predecessor had been studying for a while. You try funeral rites for half an hour and then give up on that. There's no mentions of the deep in context such as this. There's context of speaking of deep sea animals. That's the closest that you think you find at one point of fishermen speaking of pulling up strange fish and the like when they were in a particular part of the waters off the Thornridge Bluffs, where this was also Bat's predecessor. Talked about how it seems like there was some type of upwelling from the ocean floor near the Thornridge Bluff cliffs. Probably caused these creatures to come up to the point where the fishermen were able to catch them. But that's the closest you get, and it just describes some strange-looking fish.
Yeah, nothing with magic or anything like
No.
that. I didn't think I would find anything really, but
Yeah.
I had to look.
All right. The next thing was Sanguine River.
Yeah, just information on the grasslands and the river. Maybe just like places to avoid, or like trying to just wayfind a potentially easier path to go to there.
Okay. Give me another investigation check. Are you gonna spend another enhanced ability on this?
Yes, I will.
Okay. So you would normally have disadvantage on this one because the Bat's library and her predecessors isn't particularly focused on natural geography and things of that sort.
Yeah.
Unless one of them was like had specific interest in something, it's less likely to be here, but there's still a chance. So.
And I know that her library wouldn't have much on like geography, but more like maybe like any sort of arcane things to avoid or anything she was researching in
Of
that
course,
area.
exactly, and that would be the type of thing that you might be able to find. So go ahead and give me a straight investigation roll.
Sure.
And then mark off another second level slot.
Just a 9.
Okay. You spend about an hour pouring through these books and documents that you do have access to, and as you suspected, there hasn't been a lot of talk of the locations in the fields north of the Pinwood. There's been no discovery of ruins that might interest someone such as her station, and the resources in that area are of relatively small interest. So it's not a particular point of interest for most Tauth, or most of the Tautha, as additional lands to settle. It's one of the reasons that the nomadic tribes of Gogron and Hellerast people use these, is because one particular location will be hunted to almost complete exhaustion, and then they will move on, allowing that area to allow its fauna to regrow and become mature again, such that it can support them again in the following year. But beyond that, and most of that information was stuff that you had already sort of picked up, there's nothing.
Yeah, it just sounds familiar to what Gogron said.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then finally, it was on Armskirk. What was your last one specifically?
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me another investigation check with advantage if you're going to spend a third second level spell slot.
I will. I'm just like, I wish Willem was here. God damn it. It's an 11.
11. It takes you almost the remainder of the night to go through the notes on Armskirk. Seems that the bat was present at the last gathering. This is something that you know sort of happens, but very tangentially. It's something that happens every midsummer. Once most fields are planted, and officials can be away from their Tautha for a bit of time, many of them will gather in Armskirk, discuss how each Tauth fared throughout the winter, what the prospects were for the coming harvest, and additional concerns of anything growing in the region. Going back a few years, there was discussion of a rogue orc tribe that had gotten set on a wrong path and was raiding some of the farmers north of Armskirk into some of the other Tautha. And Armskirk had provided aid to help reinforce the area and fight off such a thing. And that's one of the purposes of these meetings, is to discuss threats such as this, and to maintain this semblance of peace between all of the different areas. The discussion this past midsummer, so nearly 10 months ago, 9 months ago, was focused on a band of mercenaries that called the Death Deniers, that has been popping up in a city, particularly for assassination for hire or extortion, money laundering, loan sharking, things of that sort, or plain blackmail and extortion through force. But popping up, spending no more than a 10-day in town, and then vanishing again. And the group started further north, as we've been making their way south over the preceding winter, so a little bit over a year ago. And Armskirk had not yet had any type of run-in with them, but the three Taltha to the north of Armskirk had brought up this concern. They were wondering if they came from the Stormstring Isle pirates. No one's quite sure where this group arrived from, and no one's quite sure how large of a group it's comprised of. But they have a telltale mark that they leave behind at the site of any job. And there's a sketch of this sort of token that is left behind. And this was of particular interest to Bat, as she chronicled it, just so that way she could keep an eye out and try to set any type of arcane means of detection of anything that might resemble this being made in Elderthorn, although she was unsuccessful, it seems like, in creating anything such as this. There are other notes scribbled on the margins of impractical creation.
Now that Siegfried sees the symbol or the marking of the Death Defiers,
Death
looking
Deniers.
back over the past month, does Siegfried recognize seeing it anywhere we've been to?
The symbol? It does not.
Yeah.
No. You've not
No.
seen this. This is the first time you've seen anything of its likeness.
I'll just make sure to mark the symbol down in my notebook so I don't forget it. And yeah, I'll
Looks like an X inside of a circle with the top of the X connected, and the bottom of the X forming a diamond shape. So let me give you a very rough doodle on.
Was this the very last thing she was researching before she died?
No, these are notes from the last summit meeting.
Okay.
That happens in Armskirk. So when you were searching for things specific to Armskirk, this was notated as such, and that's what.
Is there any
drew
sort
open
of
these
like
notes.
attendance list for that meeting?
As you take a glance, though, you do notice some of the names. Mayor Tadell and Captain Stormsurge were present, along with names that mean virtually nothing to you, but you gather are most likely the mayors or governors of the other the other Taltha, and maybe members of their guards, watch, whatever they call them in those regions. In total, there are 5 Taltha. The only 2 names which you recognize are Armskirk and Elderthorn, although the only names of individuals that you recognize are from local.
Okay, and if I have any time left, I would just like to figure out what the last thing Bat was researching before she died.
Okay. Go ahead and first make me a Constitution saving throw.
Sure.
Okay. And then go ahead and make me another investigation check. Are you spending another spell slot, or are you out?
I am out.
Okay, so disadvantage in this case. Still pretty good. The most recent thing that Bat was investigating was the apparent presence of a minor sickness that had been detected in some of the farmers out on the outskirts, pardon me, of Elderthorn. It did not seem to be life-threatening of any sort. It just seemed to be a mild inconvenience that caused a stiffness of the hands, to the point that some of the fingers were unable to fully close around farm tools. And of course, this is a big inconvenience for people who make it their livelihood. And the bat was particularly concerned with how this might spread to other farmhands around Elderthorn. What are the other health implications of this? She did not find any solution to it from what you gather in the notes that you do find. But it doesn't seem like it was spreading quite rapidly either. Make me a history check as well, please. Some of the names you recognize as names around town, some of them you don't. You do know that most of these farms are to the northeast of Elderthorn proper.
Near the Pinwood.
They're around the Pinwood. They don't venture into the trees because it's not arable land. But they probably border close to it. And
Did she
some of
have
their
any
fields most
plans
likely butt up
on-
against it.
Did she have any plans in there on what her next steps were, or was she just stumped?
No. The most recent part of this was having like notes on discussions of details of this, and speaking that she needed to see if this was passed from farmhand to farmhand by contact or food or things like that. But she didn't place any notes on any type of experiments that she might have run or further investigation. So it seems like she was very early on in this.
Okay. Who was the last farmhand in Elderthorn that she interviewed?
Let me grab that name. The last farmhand was a halfling by the name of Howl, Howl, Snow Beetle, Snobeedle.
Al Snow. How do you spell the last name? SNO. Okay.
Snow Beetle, yeah.
Okay.
And howl like a howling wolf.
And he works on a farm in town.
Well, yeah, part of the greater area that Elderthorn collects taxes from that help contribute to its overall population size. Yeah, it's about half a day's journey out of town,
And
town center.
How much time before her death did she do this interview?
This was about a month prior.
Okay.
She was hoping to
not
try to
like
get to the end of it. It was about a week before word came in that the logging camp could begin resuming work.
Okay. Yeah.
Which would have been about a week prior to where we started our campaign.
Then I guess Sigrid's probably like real tired now, and right before he went to sleep.
Oh yeah,
Since
you did
he's
not
covered
complete your long rest.
Yeah. He's just going to do a quick detect magic in the room.
Sure. You consciousness fans out.
Yeah.
You notice there are some spells present. In particular, a glass-topped case with some very old scrolls within contains abjuration magic. You gather this is most likely to preserve the parchments contained therein. But nothing else registers untowards to you.
Sigrid grabs that box and carefully opens it to try and see what's inside.
No, it's a whole case. It's not like
Okay.
a small box. There are
Oh, it's a whole. It's
Yeah.
keeping all the
Yeah,
scrolls.
it-
Okay.
correct. It's like a glass-topped case to hold older and more fragile documents. It would have been one that you've gone through a few times overall this evening already, taking a look through it during your research to see if there was any older records, especially when you were searching for information on the deep.
Yeah.
There's probably 24 or so parchment scrolls and books contained therein.
Yeah. After that, Siegfried would just probably head back to his room then.
Okay. The rest of you complete your long rest comfortably in your own fashions. And I think we'll take our mid-session break a little bit early today, and we'll pick up with the morning. Sounds good?
Ooh.
Do I roll a Constitution saving throw for a hangover?
You certainly can. You have advantage. You're a dwarf.
Awesome.
You have advantage on poison checks.
Exhausted.
Nice.
Let someone else get exhaustion besides me.
Done and you're fine.
God damn.
Nothing some day-old food from Buka can't solve.
Some heavy snoring you hear from his room.
Yeah. There's a few plates with scraps sitting out that look particularly greasy enough to solve your morning problems.
Perfect.
Alright. Let's take a quick break. Back in about 6 minutes. Refill coffees, beverages of any sort, and maybe with any luck we'll have Willem joining us as well.
Get me some beer.
Under then, as you all wake the following morning, well, most of you wake. The day is yours. What would you like to do?
So then I would eat some breakfast, some bacon, some eggs and the bread. And then we'll probably head over and get some supplies. You would resupply on some torches.
Noted. Easy enough.
Just short on that. So like 8 torches.
Okay.
So that has 10 again.
Go Grind's General Goods. So the torch will run you. Really? There we go. Torches are 1 copper apiece. So
Okay.
1 silver will buy you 10 more torches.
Yeah, we'll just do 10 then, yeah. I guess Willem will provide the rations.
Yeah, Willem will take care of rations and food for everyone.
He,
He favorite has someone to buy ropes at some point as well.
I have still 50 feet. I
Okay.
could buy 2
Yeah.
more if we need, so.
Yeah, because we used a bunch in our last one.
Okay, I'll build by...
So every 50 feet of rope is 1 gold crown or 10 silver crowns. So how many? And there
Does Gogron accept gold crowns?
yeah, if you
Because
have
I
gold
have
crowns.
12.
Yeah.
I'll give him 2, yeah.
Oh, sure. He'll take them, and he'll provide you 100 feet of continuous rope. It's not cut, so add it to your inventory as 100 rope 100 feet. It weighs 20 pounds. But that way you can cut it as needed.
So 1.
Because you're buying it in bulk.
Yeah.
He has a large
Hello.
spool that he cuts from in 50-foot increments.
Hillarast is going to get some arrows for her short bow so that she can
Okay.
do that if needed rather than just spellfire.
Noted. Okay. Each bundle of arrows is a bundle of 20, and that's also a gold crown, so it's 10 silver per
10 silver.
per set.
Okay.
There's 20 per set.
Just 20.
Okay. So add 1 bundle of arrows to your inventory.
Well, and after that's done, I guess Dana will go to, I don't know, to the keep. Wait for the others.
Sure.
before I head in for my interview or the council, Aeolus would like to find a what are they called? An aviary or a place where he can send like a hawk with a message.
Okay. So there's not an aviary within the keep that you could do as such, but you could hire a runner. This would be one of the members of the Blackburn Watch, pardon me, that has taken the career, but is still at the lowest rank, so 1 rank beneath you.
No, because I'm not sure where they would head off to for the individuals that Aeolus is attempting to reach.
Okay.
So I'll just head to where I am supposed to go for the questioning.
Okay. Noted. Alright. You stop by. It's not as formal an affair as you were expecting. But you're placed underneath a zone of truth, and you're asked the details of your journey and investigation from the point of learning of Lander's death, all the way through to your decision to leave the remains of Tidel in the tomb, dungeon, crypt, underground structure where you had found her. Is there anything that you try to leave out or speak circuitously around, knowing that you cannot lie?
No, at this point, Aeolus is just following the motions. So any information that they ask, he gives.
Okay. Just testing the arrow. Okay. So it doesn't want to do the resource thing correctly. Hello asked. So you just need to tick it down manually.
Yep, you bet.
Okay. So Aeolus, as you go through the questioning, speaking directly to their questions and not embellishing anything additional, takes you the better part of about 2 hours to get through everything. And they do continuously keep the spell going on you. There's a number of members of the Acolytes here with you as well. Members of Blackburn Watch, but you recognize some of their faces as people that you probably trained when they were still recruits you've worked with, and some people that you were probably trained with. And then some faces you don't recognize more than in passing. All said, there's about 8 of them present that keep the spell going on the entire room throughout the encounter. But by the end of a long, sort of parching 2 hours with how much you've been speaking, you are told, thank you for answering the questions, and that was all you were needed for. You try to linger.
Before I leave,
Mhm.
I look to the council members and everyone else in the room. I just wanted to let those here know that the group is under my watch, and anything that they do that is out of turn, I accept responsibility for. And we have faced it before. I'm sure if there is anything that we're suspected of in the future, we will be it'll come to us rapidly, as do most information in Elderthorn travels. And I bow my head and walk out.
You hear a small cough behind you as you turn. Leaning forward, one of the people that's been sort of directing your line of questioning up until this point, give me a history check, please. See if you remember this individual's name. You're not quite sure. It's a copper dragonborn woman. She leans forward and speaks. It will be remembered. Thank you for your time here and your service to Elderthorn. The community is appreciative, and I don't want you to think otherwise. This is merely a formality, and such that we can say with confidence to our peoples that the proper investigation took place. Be well. As you sort of get a hand gesture that you can go then.
Is the zone of truth up still?
No, it has ended.
Okay. Then Aeolus just wordlessly nods and leaves.
Okay. I gotta step away one moment. I think I just got that message. You are free to go and be about the town. I can still hear though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Siegfried's just gonna be sleeping until the group come get them.
I think Aeolus would make his way to Siegfried's room. Because there is the topic that Aeolus wanted to speak with Siegfried on, but we were interrupted by weird nightmare burb. So
Imagine you'd find him in his bunk, passed out. He probably fell asleep in his day clothes. You'll notice.
Siegfried.
What?
Late
What
night.
was interview over the interrogation over?
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful.
Good for things like that, isn't it?
Eh,
You're probably the best person to speak on our behalf, honestly.
Hopefully.
Back.
Before we meet up with the others,
Mm-hmm.
I want to make something clear to you, Siegfried.
Sure. What is it?
And Aeolus will wait for Siegfried to ready himself. Hopefully the extra couple hours of sleep helped.
Yeah.
Oh, it's by this point it's afternoon. Like
He'll just
Uh,
put water on his face, and that's about it.
I reach into my pocket and pull out the Bloody Mad Dog's patch. Here.
Want me to keep it?
I'm not here to... How do I say this nicely? I'm as much a part of the Bloody Mad Dogs as I am a part of Blackburn.
We just shrug. I mean, it's not like Dunnan is gonna force you to wear it.
Oh, it's not done in. I'm worried about the feelings being hurt. But we'll talk more on it. Let's go grab what supplies we need.
And Siegfried just shrugs and he's like, I mean, I know you have your own reasons for joining the Watch, but I'd like to think that we wouldn't have gone this far without the help of our comrades, regardless of our motivations. But
We are a very capable group.
and what are your concerns? I mean, is your purpose incongruent with the goals of the Mad Dogs or the Watch?
I don't think I can answer that fully at the moment. Not that we're not in a place to speak freely. More that I don't have the answer properly.
So, you're an acolyte, right, Aeolus? You had the opportunity to leave after a year. Why did you sign on again?
2 years.
2 years. If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, and it's an avowed position, not an acolyte. Acolyte is specifically the spellcaster branch.
Okay. Yeah, I was just asking. Look, you had the opportunity to. You did your service, Aeolus. No one's gonna fault you for going off and doing your own thing.
I had to make Elderthorn my home. That was part of the reason why I came here.
And continuing on as a avowed helps you pursue that goal?
Allows me access to things that I may require, such as replacement weapons. If the situation calls for it.
I see, so it was more of a utilitarian choice. Home
Right.
means security for you. And Elderthorn, the watch helps you create the security you need. Is that my misunderstanding?
Right. I'm more of a researcher than a frontliner. If me getting knocked on my ass as frequently as I do doesn't show that.
I'll always be there to pick you up, but regardless, maybe let Dunnan take his frontline role for a bit. He seems to enjoy it quite a bit. Do you see he ran right into a brick wall and he seemed unfazed?
Yeah,
I swear I saw him
yeah.
knock himself out and then stand up again. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
He scares me. He does.
I almost made a horror save when I saw that. Anyways, but actually, I think I could use a researcher because I seem to be an awful one. I stayed up all night in Bat's library since I have access to it now. Honestly, didn't get much, but tired. But it seemed like she was in bed. I didn't find anything regarding the deep, but maybe you might have better luck in there. I know she kept codes and hidden things in there, but I didn't find anything on the deep. But I tried to look into maybe, and she didn't have much information on the Sanguine River or the area around there, but she wasn't into nature as much as I was, so that figures. But I tried looking into what maybe she would have been investigating right up unto her death, and there seemed to be two things of note. One thing, she was investigating this illness that seems to be spreading among some of the farmers, not just Elderthorn, but around the greater area. And I point out on my map a couple of farms to the northeast, outside of town. There's the last person she interviewed, Snow Beetle. Apparently there's some sort of illness that's affecting the hands of farmers, making them stiff and no longer able to be used like normal hands.
Huh.
But it didn't seem like she got much. Snow Beetle was one of the last people she interviewed before her death, and it didn't seem like she had a plan yet. She was just trying to figure out how the disease was spreading, whether it was through contact, something they ate, bad water. She didn't figure it out yet, but many of the incidents seem to be near the Pinwood, so you know how that is. And then the second thing, and I said this might interest you more, Aeolus, with the whole security thing. It seems that about a month before her death, there was a meeting of the leaders of the different towns. One of the topics of discussion was the mysterious arrival of this organization called the Death Defiers. They seem to specialize in things like extortion, blackmail, assassination, and they appeared in a few of the towns north of Armskirts, seemingly without any sort of notice or evidence. They just appeared one day and then disappeared another, and they continue to do that. That seemed to be quite invested in that investigation. And if we're still planning on heading to Armskirk, we might run into this group there. And I hand all my notes over to Aeolus.
Huh. Well, hold on to those. We have a fair bit of travel ahead. Maybe we can stop at Snow Beetle's residence as we head out.
I believe he's only a farmhand. What was the actual farm he worked at, Spencer?
The Snow Beetle Farm.
Oh, Snow Beetle. So you that is
Yeah.
the family's
You recognize the family name. That's why you know where it is. It's because it's the family
Sorry,
name.
I forgot to write down his first name because I was too
Howl.
busy.
Howl.
Howl Snow Beetle. Thank you. Like the wolf, yeah, that's what you said. Howl.
Does he have a castle?
Fortunately not.
Yeah.
Enter, have I heard of the deaths?
Death Deniers?
Yeah.
Deniers.
You've not heard of them previously, no.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, grab your stuff. I have to head over to the Amber Braids before we go.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just packed up all my stuff, and he said, "I'm gonna be a little low on spells today, but I don't feel too exhausted."
Okay.
That's fine. I don't think we'll need spells. What's the worst that could happen? We see another third-eyed, creepy bird that wants to eat our soul?
I don't think spells would even work against that thing. That was, of everything we've seen, that was probably the most terrifying so far.
Yeah.
So that happens in about midday, all of that stuff. Earlier in the morning, Helras, you said you're going to Amber Braids first thing.
Yeah. Yeah, she just kind of has a little thought that maybe she should go talk to Emil. Just to see what's up with her, and maybe have a buckle fixed on her breastplate, because the buckle's a little loose right there under the right armpit. Just, can you just take a look at this and see? Just she has no intention of actually pursuing anything at this point till all of this bullshit's over, but yeah, she's just gonna. She has a newfound respect for Emil.
Well, you get up in the morning. You get over to the Hammer in Hand Smithy, where Emil works. Amber Braids is the shop front, but as you approach, you see that it is still closed for the morning. It seems like a good bit of people in town probably hungover after hearing that you had returned, and they wanted to celebrate with you and buy your company, a drink, or at least spend some time with you in thanks and celebration. So most people are sleeping in. It seems like the Ember Rays as well. Although Emil has not taking part in the festivities and is as such already hard at work this morning. You can hear the pinging of tools coming from the Hammer and Hand smithy around the corner. You can easily walk around. As you get around, you find Emil. Let me grab the handout. There it is. Currently working on, it looks like she's grinding a fuller into what appears to be a fairly nice looking sword. And she's going back and checking it every now and then. As you come around, she's just picked up one of the files again. Hello? What can I do for you? My brother's not got their shop open yet. He's a bit drunk. Still.
I just wanted to stop, and we're heading out again soon to go talk to some people, and it's all not that important. But I wanted to see if it would be possible to get this buckle fixed on my breastplate here.
Right. Puts the sword down carefully on what looks to be like an oiled rag of some sort, just so it's not grinding on whatever metal is underneath it. Comes over, sort of lifts your arm very unceremoniously and starts twisting you around here and there. I mean, it's just a buckle. Let me see if I got anything about the right size. Looks like it's bent out of shape, slightly. Yeah, she doesn't even ask. She just undoes the buckle, takes a pair of shears from her leather apron, cuts the leather strap, and then takes it over to what looks to be a collection of small shelves and boxes and stuff. And starts going through, trying to find something that's a similar size and make. Early for such an errand.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Early for such an errand.
Yeah, I don't drink very much. I'm not as hungover as everybody else, and I just don't want to keep anybody waiting.
Not gonna inspect it. She finds a sort of round one. Definitely does not match, but it's about the same width. Comes back over and stretches out the leather thong a little bit. Yeah, this will fit. Here, take that off for a sec, so I can stitch the leather back together.
Okay, so Halarast will take off her breastplate. She does not wear much underneath it because she runs a little warmer than everybody else and doesn't feel the cold as like early spring cold as much. So she's just standing there in like a white t-shirt thing, just like a tank top thing. And
Emil lifts the breastplate from you as you finish unbuckling the one side that still remained, and moves it around with surprising strength. Like, it's not a lightweight piece of gear. Like, it's as light as it can be, but it still has some weight to it. But Emil's just moving and manipulating it around with one hand, betraying a surprising amount of strength. As she sort of twists and turns it and takes it over to a large, wide workbench that has divots set into the center of the workbench, such that tools can sort of be pushed that are on the table can be pushed into this hole in the center of the table that is almost like a fuller along the entire workbench and leave a flat top. She sort of twists and then clamps the breastplate to the table and starts working on repairing the leather thong that she had to cut to remove the damaged buckle. How'd you manage to damage something up in your armpit?
you know, I'm not sure why I just noticed it a couple of days ago. Must have just been the way I was carrying my pack or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it was when we were fighting... Yeah, fighting those lizard people.
Lizard people. And here. You got a sort of like a furrowed brow. And she looks at you. Remember the lizard people around here?
It was not here. It was farther away. I've kind of been dealing with this buckle for a while.
Oh. Right. Haven't heard of any lizard folk in the area. Better part of 5 years.
Yeah, I've been traveling a lot lately. I just happened to come back here to see what was going on, and then I just got caught up in all this Mad Dog stuff, which I enjoy.
Oh, you're one of Dunnan's friends, aren't you?
Yes. Yes.
Sort of
and
shakes her
Goggle-
head and rolls her eyes.
He's
what did you-
sweet. He's sweet on you, you know. But I think Buka set him straight.
Huh. Buka likes to set people like that. She finishes up the Elderthorn. Yeah, try this. So puts it on you, and lifts your arm, throws it up, and then reaffixes the new round buckle onto it. There you go. That should serve you well enough. You really should try to get this more properly looked at. But as far as like a quick fix, that'll serve you fine. But the inner leather on the breastplate's starting to wear. You're gonna need to get it replaced. You might want to stop by the tanners when you have some downtime from all this traveling you're doing, and leave it with them for a while. Get the padding replaced and stuff like that, and they'll be able to get a better strap on there. If you get a spear or something up there, you might lose the buckle and some blood.
Good to know. Thank you. Thank you. I will do that, but I'm not going to have time today, so we'll do that next time I'm in town. Hopefully that's not going to be very long. Thank you. What do I owe you for the buckle?
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So it takes the little chunk of the bent buckle and sort of tosses it over his shoulder into a barrel of scrap.
Okay, well, thank you. We'll be back. I'm sure all of us will be back in some capacity, because I think we're probably all kind of getting a little worn out on our work. Hellerest is a terrible...
Don't know the
word.
feeling. Yeah. Don't know the feeling of getting worn out on my work. I enjoy it.
Okay.
Picks up the sword again. Starts going back through her files.
Hellerest just turns on her heel and casually walks out. And now she's got more to think about than just the orc history and what we may have lost, but she's got something else in there too.
Sure. Give me a perception check. As you turn and head off, sort of take a quick glance back, and you catch Emil looking after you as you're walking away. She goes back to her work.
So she goes to meet and rendezvous with everybody else.
Noted. Okay. Whereabouts are the rest of you all meeting up?
Well, Brannan has been standing in front of the keep and waiting for us, and has gathered a crowd and is telling the tale of their recent exploits. And then the table came to life and attacked us after the, I don't know, and then the rock and everything, and it said, "Welcome to my dungeon." It's crazy, and then this cheese knife attacked the Oles, and he nearly died again, and
You have
it was
about
fun.
a half dozen people listening to your tale in great
Like,
entertainment.
got it. Come on, stop getting attention. We gotta go.
What the best part is coming up, and then we met the mayor of the town,
What
or
do you
the
mean?
newfound mayor of the town.
Classified. See if he just starts yelling that out in front of-
People are now paying attention significantly.
Stop airing our business out. Come on, let's go.
What?
You know what? Siegfried, I changed my mind. It is his feelings that I want to hurt.
You're talking about whose feelings?
I'll just tell everyone Captain Storm Surge will have his official statement soon. And then I just pushed on it away.
Ah, yes. Throw the captain
do-
under.
Did I
Under
do a
the cart.
bullshit?
It's
I
his
don't
job,
get it.
Aeolus.
I
It's
just
his job to be thrown under the bus. Oh, come on, let's go.
maybe I drank ale or two too much yesterday. I must have some amnesia. I don't know what you're talking about. But I had the best party yesterday. Finally, the people are looking up to me. I'm not the weird outsider anymore. I'm the revered dwarf, the leader of the bloody Mad Dogs.
Oh boy.
Like,
So,
Conan, I've always looked up to you while Siegfried is looking down on you.
so I was unaware that you wanted everyone to admire you, Conan.
I don't want admiration. I mean, it's nice, but what I really want is to be part of the community here. Citizenship. But I don't want to go through Blackburn training. For what? I've been a mercenary all my life. I don't want to waste 2 years doing like, yes, sir, yes, sir. You know?
Well, Denon, I think you've graduated from weird outsider to weird insider. That's pretty good for just, what, a month? You've been here? You
Pretty much,
keep
with a little
going,
bit
you're going to
more.
be popular eventually.
I have been here for more than 7 months. We just met
Ah.
like 1 month ago. Or came together 1 month ago.
Still, pretty good.
Sorry, Hellrat. Didn't want to interrupt,
Well, I'm
but I
done.
want to. Your two friends that you're looking for. What? I know you don't want to tell us everything, but what were their professions before they crossed the ocean?
Sorry, were you talking to me? I didn't.
Yeah, I was talking to
my wife.
yeah.
I didn't. My wife just talked to me. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying.
I missed it.
I know you're kind of playing it close to the vest, Tunnen, but the two friends of yours that you're looking for, what exactly were their professions when you met them originally?
No, they were mercenaries too. We were a band of group called the Death's Deniers. And I was a part of the...
Siegfried just kind of starts like, the Death's Deniers, and I look at Aeolus.
What? What is it?
Fuck, we know this name, Dunnen. I just spent the whole night looking on Bat's research. There's a criminal organization that's sprouted up. The towns north of Almskirk and in Almskirk. They're calling themselves the Death's Deniers.
That very much sounds like them. Assassination, extortion, blackmailing.
And yeah, Siegfried just
Sounds
starts
about right.
nodding his finger. That's exactly what was in Bat's notes. She was trying to look for a solution right before she died. I didn't think of your friends, but I figured her notes kept saying that they come and they disappear, but I figured a good way to disappear might be joining the logging camps in the winter.
Yeah, they were running away from some shady business they did at Almskirk.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. That's sounds like Kratel all over. He is
I mean, it
the
seems so
de facto
crazy.
leader.
They're literally calling themselves the Death Deniers. That's
Yes.
got balls.
Well, it's a long story. We came from the mainland, or we were a pretty revered group in the mainland. We were doing honorable jobs and were praised and were held in high regards, mostly. And then something shifted in Blackhand, Kratel Blackhand. I don't know. I can't grasp what happened, but suddenly we were doing all this shady stuff like blackmailing and extortion, kidnapping, and it was against everything I stood for. I stood for honor, for honest fighting, you know? And it rubbed me the wrong way. So I challenged Kratel one day for leadership, but was. I still don't know what happened. He was never that capable, you know? Maybe it goes hand in hand with that shift in in their personality. I don't know. But I lost and I
Was it
couldn't
a
be.
specific incident you noticed the change, or was it just gradual over time?
It was gradually. It got worse and worse. It started. They were just getting more angry, more aggressive, more brusque, you know. But which was not in any way their usual behavior before. And then it got worse and worse. And after my loss, I had to leave. I wasn't going to participate in any more of their shady dealings and businesses. So and that's why I came here. But
I'm glad we
hearing
got
that they are here now too means I can finally clear that tab with Kratel once and for all. But that shouldn't be our main goal.
Well, honestly, one of my goals right now is to find out exactly why and how the bat died. She was one of
Ah.
us, and she deserves
I-
someone
yeah.
investigating this.
I wouldn't put it past Kratel to do stuff like that. Maybe they even had their hands with the mayor. I don't know. Could be.
Also, Keydance was from Almskirk too, and she seems to be involved in this whole process of decaying bodies immediately. It would be a valuable tool for a organization like the Death Deniers. But that's all just conjecture right now.
It could be, yes. They became pretty resourceful at the end, so it is possible, yes.
Is it possible that they could have hired 2 half elves?
I don't think they hired the Hellfires. They most likely were part of the Death Deniers. I mean, they must be new members because I didn't know them, and I was a member 8 months ago. So
I mean, one would presume to maintain this level of secrecy. It doesn't seem like they'd be going for outsiders for their jobs.
they look for capable people, and Kratel definitely has the eye for recruiting the right type of people, if you know what I mean.
So, what do you think,
The
AOS?
lowest of the low.
Do you think this trip to Almskirk is warranted?
Well, it will be pretty interesting there once we get there. Do we have confirmation that they're still in Armskirk?
No, the bat's notes were from a month before she died.
So
But
they could moved on.
The leaders of the towns met, and apparently there are 3 towns north of Almskirk, and they've been having quite a bit of trouble with these death defiers. They came to the council with their problems, and that was one of the main issue that was discussed.
Must rapidly gain influence, it seems, or try to gain influence over the region.
But if they ever had a place to set up shop, I think most likely would be Almskirk. In Elderthorn, they would notice new people right away. I mean, you knew that. Done. And most of the other small towns, organization comes in and sets up. They can't just do that without the townspeople working with them. So, Almskirk's the easiest place where someone can be invisible.
Speaking of being invisible, I don't think we should have this conversation out in the open.
Sure.
We know how word
right.
travels.
Sorry, apologies. I got surprised when Dunnan
Oh,
said
no,
the words.
yeah.
I read it a few hours ago.
I did too, trust me.
Just interesting that Pat was researching them. Yes.
Yes, the bat was one of the smartest people I knew, and if she was researching it, it was important.
You
Yes,
said
Aeolus.
you're from the mainland.
Yes.
Whereabouts?
Well, I grew up in a small town. I was a foster child and then became a guard there.
Dunnan
And
describes the location. Aeolus, it is
Yeah.
not familiar to you.
Okay.
And one day the Death Deniers came to town and I joined them. And at the time they were honorable a mercenary group. Until Kratos changed behavior or personality or whatever happened to them. I don't know.
Oh, if it means anything, and I'll put my hand onto your shoulder. You're a part of Elderthorn, whether you serve with the Blackburn or not. Now,
Thank you, Aeolus. That means a lot to me. And you are a part of the bloody Mad Dogs. You know? Even if you die a little, or if you go down a little too much, but there's always Siegfried to fix you up, right? Siegfried?
yeah.
Well, if everyone's ready, we were going to go check on the Snow Beetle family farm. The bat,
Who Beatles?
along
Who's
with
that?
investigating the death of deniers, was also investigating a mysterious illness. And Powell Snowbell was one of the last people she spoke to before she died.
Well, that's one of the last people she spoke with regarding that.
Yeah, regarding this disease. So I want to check up on them, even if it may not be connected to the death deniers. That's all right.
Sure. Let's follow every thread.
We picked up rations?
Yeah,
Yes,
I believe-
Willem chimes in. I got plenty.
okay, yeah.
I spent all my gold.
And we also, I said Aeolus, we also bought an entire cask of ale and a smaller cask of rum. I'm sure you will
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, cask
Ale
of
is
ale.
mine, just so you know.
Cask of it. The ale is you guys bought a 50-gallon,
Yeah.
A whole barrel. I
and
think.
then the rum is a 12.5-gallon container.
Yep, so 100
That's the smallest
of
size.
the ale and 50 drinks of the rum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright,
You gotta be
Alright.
prepared for a long journey, Aeolus. You know?
I'm not much of a heavy drinker.
When we get to
You
the
get
farm,
there.
I'll let you handle the talking, Aeolus, since you're the avowed here. You know,
I would be more interested in watching how you handle it.
all
But
right.
I will be there for backup.
Okay,
I need to go speak with the Amber Braids for a moment.
sure. Let's. We'll just wait for Helarast and make sure she knows what's up.
Well, Helarast did her things in the morning. Like,
Oh yeah, but she's not with us right now, right?
oh, that's-
Dunnan waited us at the keep. didn't know if Ellerest was with him.
Yeah, I don't know if we've met up yet.
You could have if you wanted to. But
I think it would be more fun if they noticed me leaving Amber Braids.
which might sort of coincide with Aeolus heading that way. Although I
Yeah.
think the rest of them are waiting for
head over
Aeolus.
there. We'll
So.
just head over there with Aeolus then. Hopefully, we'll see Helly if she's around town. She's like 3 feet taller than everyone else.
She's not 3 feet tall. She's like 6 inches taller. This is still a
She's
good
like-
bit.
Yeah.
3 feet taller than
Done it.
We
Miller.
have
Yeah.
to realize all of Siegfried's references have to deal with dwarf size. That's his normal.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. So you all headed to Ember Braids a little bit later in the afternoon. Would they spot you, Hellerest? Would you be hanging around in that area, or would you have headed out somewhere after speaking with Emil?
I think she just headed back into town to try to find them and figure out what was going on.
Okay. So when the group of you are crossing the Choral Run, you would have spotted them, Hellerest, after having a brunch at the Faded Gate, burning a little bit of time, wondering if they had slept in, maybe if you were supposed to meet up here and you had forgotten, and then deciding to head into town around noonish. That's when you would have run into the rest of them crossing the Choral Run.
Okay.
Like, Helly, there's been a development, but it might not be safe to talk about it right now, but we're heading out of town. You ready to go?
Of course there's a development. We don't get anything else. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's just eat something from the Amber Braids, and then we're heading to the I keep having such a hard. I keep reading the last name. The Snow Apple.
Snow
Farm.
Beetle.
Snow Beetle. I'm still fucking dyslexic. Anyways, Snow Beetle. Snow Beetle's farms. Yeah.
Okay. So to Amber Braids, Andre has opened up the shop by this point. Aeolus, as you poke in.
You, Andre.
Oh yeah.
Are we-
What are you all looking for? It's good to see you.
How's your head, Andre?
Fine. How's your head? Looks like shite.
It always does, doesn't it? Well,
don't
yours
know.
ain't looking better.
Did you take your morning bath in a latrine?
Who knows? I had a little much last night, as always.
If you always
Remember
have,
that
if
Aeolus
you always
has
have
business
much,
with you.
is it always, or is that you're normal? No, it's fine. Business. What do you need, Els?
The bar gets raised every time.
No, I'm pretty
Aeolus-
sure you're trying to drink yourself under the bar.
The water
As-
stream.
As the both of them are just going back and forth, Aeolus takes out the creature parts
Mhm.
and takes out the katana and his short sword.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how long it may take to fashion housing for my blades out of the creature parts.
Maybe you'd have to split it. Maybe use it as like scaling on the sheath. Maybe might be able to get 2 out of it. I mean, type of work's a little bit more fine. Did you check with Bogram?
I did not.
Alright, he would have been the person for it. I mean, maybe 3 days. That's if nothing else is going on. Yeah, give it 3 days, and we'll have at least something for you.
Okay, we are actually heading out for
Well, you
about
want?
2 10-day, perhaps.
All right. Well, we can definitely have one of them done by the time you get back. You want to leave? Sort of glances at your 2 weapons. You want to leave one of them here with us so we can get it right.
Yes. You can actually have both of them. I have my spear.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Sort of picks up the like this needle conical shaped piece of exoskeleton. I mean, it'd make a good spear tip too. You sure?
I leave it in your hands. I trust what you and your professional opinions are.
My professional opinion is that you're traveling with a drunkard.
Yes, I know.
Take the things and puts them on the
We are talking about.
table behind him.
Certainly not me.
No, not at all.
By the way, Aeolus, I
Oh,
found
get 'em
this.
done.
I procure the silver spearhead I have in my inventory. Are you interested in that? Maybe the next time we visit, I can make your spear a little better.
I mean, I haven't switched out my my watch spear since I started.
Just shrug. So, you don't need it?
Not at the moment. I would like to see what the amber braids are able to do.
Right.
How much for the commission?
I'd shudder to actually give you a price quite yet. I don't know how easily he sort of gestures with his thumb over your shoulder. I don't know how easily we're going to be able to split that thing and get it down to the right sizes.
Okay.
I turned it down and
We'll figure it out. I know where you live, ish.
Yeah, I don't have a home at the moment, so
I turned it down and I'll take this spearhead if you like. It'd be useful.
Sure. Here you go.
And
I toss it over to you.
And I turn over to Amberbrain how much to fashion this side into a spear.
I mean, it is a spearhead already, is it not?
Oh yeah, I mean, can Siegfried just attach it to his own head?
Yeah.
Or-
It's
Yeah, okay.
it's a pin that you remove.
Okay.
And then
I didn't know if it would destroy his
no,
Blackbird watch spear.
no, it's
He
just
didn't want to do
all good. Yeah, no, it's just a lock and pin.
Okay, yeah. So then, never mind, everybody. Siegfried would put that on his spear then.
You,
You know?
yeah,
Never know when we
the
need it then.
let me draw an image. So if you look into where the spear connects to the pole, there's a wedge across the center of the spearhead, and the head of the spear itself is forked, so it feeds into both of the 2 slots of the conical part of the spearhead, and then the spear itself is shaped if you look up at the top as such before turning into like the spear proper, like up above in that area, and then there's a pin that goes through which also coincides that way on the original. and that's locked into place on one end, so that way it can't be removed.
And then just like wrapped with the leather. Right?
Yeah, so one part holds the head to the spear, and then the bisecting on the inside of the conical part of the spear prevents it from rotating on the end of the spear, forming an X pattern that holds everything together.
I will put the silver. I'll put the iron tip away and put the silver one.
Okay. Yeah, it is steel.
Steel.
It's not quite pure steel.
Yeah.
Emil's not quite able to get to the right temperatures to truly, totally purify and form steel. So there is still a ferrous element to any metal crafted here, which is one of the reasons that the pinwood is so susceptible. Is such a inhospitable resource. Is the metal quality is just not quite there. You would need silver or mithril to be able to accurately deal with anything, and silver is far too expensive to craft a whole bunch of axe heads out of it.
And then which makes mithril like even more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ready to go, Aeolus?
Yes. And for the sake of brevity, Aeolus wanted to stop by the now you tie shop
Mm-hmm.
and ask if it's possible for them to work with the hind and the tail of the exo to fashion it to a coat, or if he should head elsewhere.
So stopping by, this is the place that's owned and operated by Leofric and Maud Goldworthy,
Yes.
who lost their son in the last 10 day, roughly. Maybe about 15 days ago. They're not terribly up to work at the moment. They did some work for Willem, mostly because it was trying to stay occupied, and it didn't land right with them. So
Right.
they do take a look at the things that you offer and say that it's not specifically something that they would recommend in the first place. They could attempt it, but it might not function correctly once they are up to working again.
Okay. I'll thank them for their opinion and their time, and then just head out with the rest of the group.
Sure. Okay. And your destination is the Snow Beetle Estates and farm?
Yeah. Before we leave the Goldworthy's house, Siegfried is just gonna get some flowers that Druidcraft and just leave them by their door.
Easily enough done.
Yeah.
You don't knock, just leave them there.
Yeah. I don't want to bother them. I just maybe grow some flowers around the door or something like that.
Okay. A few of the buds in the garden are brought to bloom earlier in the season from you casting this. It's a small but nice garden. The group of you head out from Elderthorn, traveling on well-traveled trails. This is the same things that carts and beasts of burden would pull wagons along when coming to Market March on any particular day. The Snow Beetle Farm is about a half day's travel from Elderthorn proper. They're popular, like the Snow Beetle family is part of Elderthorn, as it's the Talith to whom they pay taxes and are protected by. A majority of people of Elderthorn don't reside in the village proper, the town proper. A lot of that is shops with housing above it, and at least half the population is spread out on these farms that sort of spiderweb out away from Elderthorn in all directions except towards into the Pinwood. But within about 3 to 4 hours, by foot, you come to small farmstead. It's unmarked, but you're nearly entirely sure that this is the Snow Beetle farm. At this point, you have about an hour before dusk.
Sure, we'll probably be interrupting at dinner, unfortunately, but we don't have the time, and I'll just go in up to the door and knock.
There's a brief moment before get the door. And a somewhat cheery-looking fellow opens the door. Halfling. He's got a trimmed beard, no mustache as part of the beard, and the hair is a little bit long and shaggy looking. He's dressed in a red tunic and some dark breeches, pardon me. Barefoot, but has a smile to his face. Hey, how you doing?
Thank you for answering your door. My
You're
name
welcome.
is Siegfried Gold River. This Bronze River, sorry, Siegfried Bronze River, and these are my companions. We're here on a bit of Blackburn Watch business. So do you mind if I speak to you for a moment?
Ma, they're on Blackburn Watch business.
Specifically, I was looking for Howl's Snow Beetle. Just wanted to talk to him for a second.
You hear a voice come from deeper in the home. Well, deal with it! The individual steps outside onto the small exterior porch. Pulls a pipe out of the small leather pouch at his side, and tries to work to light it up a little bit, having a bit of trouble.
I use
I'm Hal Snow Beetle.
Lighted for him. Here, let me help you with that.
I'm Hal Snow Beetle. Why are you looking for me, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I'm recently picking up on some investigations the bat was carrying out, and you were one of them. She said, well, in her notes, it said that you were having some trouble with your hands, and she was looking into it.
Oh, Badiana?
Yeah, Badiana.
Oh.
I'm think of me as a replacement, at least temporarily. I just wanted to check up on you.
I mean, sort of looks at the hand, the one that he was trying to light the pipe with, which you assisted. I mean, it's not gotten better, not gotten worse, but still can't use half my fingers.
Do you mind if I take a look?
By all means, he holds out his right hand to you.
I'll do a medicine check.
Sure. Go ahead and make me a medicine check. Very good. As you're sort of manipulating it, you can see he winces hard anytime you move any of the fingers on his hand except his index finger and thumb. They're curled, but not entirely, to the point where it's almost sort of like clawed up. And you can move and manipulate his index and thumb fine, but the others are quite stiff and resist any type of movement. And anytime that you try to move it, it's clearly causing a lot of pain to him.
And it's only your hand, Howl? It hasn't spread anywhere else?
Nah, it's just been the hand. I've had some sores that were on the fingers for a little while. Every now and then, or like burns. It looked like, but they healed. That was it though.
And anything come out of the sores? Any pus or liquid? Anything like?
No, you could see some of the flesh underneath. But that was it. And that was like early on before it really sort of locked up. I could still sort of move them at that point. Get at the sores, keep them clean and whatnot. But I don't know what it came from.
When did you first notice it happening?
Oh, this was Godsby maybe 2 months ago. I noticed the sores maybe 2.5. We were starting to get into winter. It was right after the first frost. And I had picked up some wood. We were gathering some from one of our piles, and thought I got a splinter. And no, I'd rubbed one of the sores that I hadn't realized was there yet on one of our some of our supply, and that's what it felt like, splinter. And I mentioned Ma. She mentioned it to my uncle Kelpip, and I think that's how word got around to Badiana.
Yeah, word spreads fast around here.
Well, Unc lives in town,
no.
so
Yeah. No one else used the supplies that got the substance rubbed on it, did they? Do you still have them?
no, it was just wood. Like we burned it through the winter.
Okay, that's good. At least you burned it. That's
Like
good.
it was fine. No one else around here sort of like nods his head towards the house. Has something like this going on. He gestures at his hands. I mean, Ma's hip is stiff, but it's been stiff for years. Doesn't seem like it's anything like this.
It's just you. Okay.
Yeah, and none of the hired helps need anything either.
Do you think the wood that you picked up could have possibly come from the pinwood?
Well, it's not just me that uses it. Some of the siblings do as well. It just depends on whose turn it is to go out in the cold and get some. I mean, we went through a few cords over the winter. It wasn't too bad, but we don't get any of the wood from the pinwood.
Okay. Well,
Can't cut those trees down. It's a good way to waste money on your axes or saws or whatever else you got going on. If they fall and you can get a limb or two, by all means, but you don't want to put any tools on it. They're better for brush burning.
okay. Well, if I know it's a big ask, but would you mind doing me a favor?
Sure. Depends on what it
I'll
is,
let
but
you know the
I
favor
got no
before
problem
you-
with helping you out if I can.
Just if anyone goes collecting wood, your family, or anyone from other art farms, just try and spread the news to start using some gloves, just in case.
I mean, we usually do.
So this happened even when you were wearing gloves?
Well, I was picking up wood from one of the. We cut down trees all year and process it to be ready for winter. It's got to dry.
Oh yeah, so you got it from the woodshed.
We got it from one of our piles.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's when
So
I noticed it.
Yeah. So we'll just tell them to be careful. Just even if they're handling their wood piles, just try and use some gloves.
Of course.
Better safe than sorry. And I know not being able to use your hand, it's very difficult for farming. It'll be bad.
I've been managing some of the household stuff. It's strange.
Work is work, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
I turned to Dunnan. I'm a little low on magic, but would you mind trying to use some of your lay on hands on him? Maybe 5 points.
Sure. I'll go over, take his hand, and give it a little punch. Because Danan is not very gentle.
Ah, jeez.
Don't punch him.
And give him like 10 10 points on lay on hands.
I apologize for my friend.
He's sort of wincing and
Sorry.
gritting his teeth in the pain.
That's how I do it.
You do not have good bedside manner.
No,
Ow!
Has anything changed on his hand after the lay on hands?
No, nothing has.
Okay. Even your magic doesn't seem to affect it, Dunnan.
That was magic? Jeez.
I'm sorry, Hal. Well,
Don't even let him touch bandages if that's where he
But
uses
how-
magic.
I'll just say, we'll try to keep your hand clean. Maybe keep it wrapped if you can.
Oh, there's no sores on it now.
I know, but just in case.
Oh,
It seems kind of sensitive too. You don't want any abrasions happening while you're doing your work. Just
he punched it.
I know, I wasn't expecting that. Next time I promise I'll have my own magic when I come back here. I swear I won't need to punch you to use it. Anyways, if your hand gets worse, try and get a message to me. All right. If I'm not here, the watch will be able to get it to me, and I'll come check on you. Okay.
Sounds good. If you
Just
ever need to,
Read that, sorry.
just check with uncle in town. He can usually get word out to us if you need.
Okay. And yeah, just tell anyone if they're picking up stuff outside, even if it's not hard work, just try and use gloves. We don't know where this is coming from, you know.
All right.
Thank you, Hal.
Sorry, I just cut out. I just read that I could use 5 hit points from the pool to cure a disease or neutralize a poison.
I'm assuming that
Does
was
it
the
change if
intention.
a...
No.
Okay.
I'm assuming that was the intention of using the lay on hands,
Okay.
attempting to neutralize any poison or any disease. No effect.
But I know there
Yeah.
are things that are more powerful than
Okay.
the outfits out there too. I know.
Mhm.
That was one of the reasons I wanted to check if it was like obviously if Bat was investigating it, it wasn't something like a paladin could just get rid of.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure.
Hal finishes.
Maybe if I hit
his
him
pipe.
harder?
What?
Please don't.
Nothing.
All right. Anything else I can help you fellers with?
No. Tell your mother apologies for interrupting dinner. We'll be on.
We're not quite there yet. Still waiting on some of the fam to come back working on the fields. I can't really carry a plow.
Well, hopefully one day we'll figure it out and you'll be able to again.
Well, I'm working the next few days. I can spread seed at least. So, something.
There's always something you can do, right? The job's never over.
You won't have any mules or horses for sale. Just an old one would suffice. I mean, I know it's season now, but
Why do we need one?
I
I'm
mean,
carrying stuff. We have a long journey ahead.
But I
Oh.
thought you said that it was exercise.
hold on one sec. Let me check with
Sure,
Ma.
for you.
He opens the door. Hey, Ma! Do we still need old Betty? We got some... The fellas that came to look at my hand want to know if they could buy her. Waits for the reply. Pops his head back out. She says once the rest of the siblings come back, you might be able to.
Never mind.
We're just finished plowing the last field now.
I don't know, Dunnan. We're going on a long journey, and I don't think we can
It
take
seems I think you need her more than we do. It's alright.
I mean, if
Thank
you
you
want,
very much,
if you want to
lad.
hang out for an hour or two, while they finish
No.
up the last field, probably be able to at least rent her.
Yeah.
What do you need her for?
Thank you very much. We gotta go. We're telling around too much already. Thank you very much.
Have a good evening, Hal.
Yes, sure.
Before we step out, Aeolus will drop 3 silver into Hal's hand. Thank you for your for the.
It hits his palm, and because he can't grab it, it falls on the
Uh-huh.
Everyone needs better.
You
better,
check
better,
as
better.
Aeolus.
I pick up the 3 silver and put it in his good hand. Thank you for the information, Hal.
Thank you. If anything gets better, I'll let you know.
Yeah, or worse. Either way, we want to
Or
know.
worse. All right.
Or if it stays the same, anything. Just let us know.
Our way back, we'll come and take a look. All right.
Sure. Sounds good.
You have a nice day.
Heads back inside. All right. How's that stew coming? That's the last thing
stew.
you hear before the door closes.
William, isn't it time for dinner for us too? Soon?
Yeah, let's find a place to camp outside of town and call it a night. But I turned to Aeolus. How much you want to bet that piece of wood was from the Pinwood somehow?
Oh. 100%. And it was.
A
Okay,
lumber,
that usually the punching does the job.
but Hal was right. If someone got lumber from the Pinwood, they would need silver axes or mithril axes.
And that is not exactly cheap.
And why would they do that and then just leave it in a pile for farmers to get, unless they were being careless or it was malicious?
Probably to disrupt something of Elderthorn.
At least it doesn't seem to be spreading from Hal to anyone else. That's a silver lining.
That is a positive. And hey, you handled yourself extremely well. Proud of you.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting Dunnan to punch his hand, but I will remember that.
It usually
I've-
works.
Have you ever been healed by him? That's all he does.
I know, yes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm usually one doing the healing.
My
Rarely on the-
Aeolus knows. He has been punched a lot by me to get him back on his feet.
I turned to Helio too. Like, all right, new development, and I tell her about the Death Deniers and Dunnan's connection to them.
I mean, that conversation could have also happened on your way to
Yeah,
the Snow Beetles as well.
And I think now we're just finding a place we can camp on the edge of the farms.
Okay. Make me a survival check along with a history check.
I will help.
I will go into my dragon form for the survival check.
Sure. So you advantage on the survival check.
No, I believe it just makes it so I can't roll below a 10.
No, he said he's helping you.
Oh, cool. Oh,
Yep.
all right.
Yep.
Awesome.
Pretty good. All right. So 18. And a history check from you as well, please, Siegfried.
Just the 3.
Okay. You find a pretty clear spot. You're not too close to any of the trees. The ground is relatively soft and comfortable. It's about a 20-minute walk from where the snow beetles were.
Before we set up, we're not like on someone's crops, are we?
No, you're quite positive that you're not.
Okay, all right. Then
You're,
I just
you're
want
not
to
on
make
anyone's
sure
fields.
Yeah, we're not on anyone's like property or like messing with their planting or the plowing. Yeah.
You're quite sure you remember exactly where like the delineation is for people's
Yeah.
fields and everything.
Yeah, because she doesn't want anyone getting pissed off that we're squatting on the land. But yeah, all right. Then once we find a good spot, I'll get a campfire going for Willem's stew or whatever bacon dish he's making.
Sounds good. So the group you resting out here on the outskirts of the farms, near the edge of the Pinwood.
Yep.
Rather than inside the Pinwood.
Can we pick a spot further away from the Pinwood?
You certainly can. You're less sure about where the properties are at that point, though.
Okay.
I will be fine.
All right. Let's just make sure to keep a good watch.
Okay. There is not wood nearby, other than the pinwood, to be able to set a fire.
Alright, just no fire tonight.
So, cold rations that Willem has tried to spice up best he can.
I can at least hold my produced flame under a pot for him if he needs it.
The slowest boiled cup of tea ever.
Yeah.
God.
30 minutes
Here,
for a cup
look,
of tea.
lukewarm.
It helps warm things up is if you just keep your hand in the spot for the next like hour or so.
Yeah.
To get to
I
a
use
pot
my
to a
stealth
boil.
endurance.
To keep your hand steady.
Yeah.
Nice. Eventually you do have a warm meal. Such use. Are you setting a watch for the evening?
Siegfried will take the early morning watch when there's some light.
And Tannen will take the first or the second, whatever.
Okay. So, Dunnan first, give me a
Ellerast
perception.
will take second.
Ellerast, give me a perception.
I will
Aeolus, you
take
take
third.
third. Aeolus, perception. And Siegfried, perception. Willem will sleep through the whole night.
And for my perception, I am also going to go into starry form dragon again.
Taking the last watch, you still have the usage of it?
Okay. Oh, cool. So I don't have to...
Because that'd be your in your 2 hours of downtime of the rest.
Okay.
So yeah, you're fine. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's just perception. I can't get below a 10. That's it.
Okay, sounds good. So that's 16. Okay, so done first. Watch passes quietly done. It's a lot of stars out. Your friends are sleeping peacefully. Now that there's no fiery hand illuminating the space, the darkness is quite complete. Eventually, enough time passes, you feel it's time to wake up. Ellerast. Ellerast. Over your watch, your mind is racing with your activities of the day and what XYZ things mean. How is she looking after you? It occupies most of your thoughts, but not enough that you don't forget to wake up Aeolus. And realizing that you've not really looked around at all over the last 2 hours, but nothing untoward has happened. Aeolus, your watch passes quietly as well. Towards the end of it, you can see the first rays of light starting to shine out over the area as you wake up Siegfried. Siegfried, about 40 minutes into your watch, you see a group of 3 people approaching you from one side. Looks to be maybe half elves, as they're getting closer.
They wake up the party.
They're just walking. They don't.
Okay.
They're not carrying weapons of.
But are they coming directly towards us, or just coming down the trail?
You look around. You're not on a trail specifically. Okay. You're just in a clear space. As you're approached by these individuals, they're about 50 feet away. But when you notice them,
okay.
Do you wake anyone up?
Yeah, I wake everyone up.
Okay. All of you are woken as these 3 individuals getting closer.
I just say, you can stop right there, friend. What do you need?
The leader of this band of 3 individuals looks to be the elder of the other 2. 2 of them appear to be younger, maybe 16, 17. And this one appears to be older, maybe mid-30s, late 40s. Somewhere in that range. Hard to tell with half elves, but probably apparent to the other two. They all have a similar disposition.
I'll be like, apologies if we're trespassing. I thought this wasn't farmland.
How did you not recognize it?
I look around. What is he pointing to?
You're on relatively freshly tilled ground. It's been packed in a little bit by weather, but you're on people's land at this point. What are you doing out here? You're members of the Watch.
Yes, we were on our way out of town, and I was looking for a camping spot at night. Apologies, I thought we were far enough away.
You didn't set any fires. That's good.
No, no wood from the pinwood, you know. I'm sorry. Here I go up to him and I give him 5 silver.
Okay.
Apologies for trespassing.
You see him take his left hand and reach it across his body to his, like a pouch on his right side, and sort of reach into and put the silver that you put in his hand into that pocket, like the pouch over there.
I don't mean to intrude, sir.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you meant to intrude. Look.
I mean, no. I have a question to ask. Your other hand, it wouldn't happen to be locked up, kind of like a claw, would it?
Sort of looks at her. I can't move the arm at all. Haven't been able to for 6 months.
Did Betty Anna come talk to you at all recently?
A little while back. 2 months
It's
ago.
your full arm. We just came from the snow beetle estate, and we were looking at how he seems to have something going on with his hand, like you got going on with your arm.
Oh, that's not good.
Go ahead, Aeolus.
Did it start out as... Did the condition start out with only your hand and it rendered the rest of your arm useless?
No, it just got stiff over time. Nothing bad about it. I mean, it's just what it is. Getting older.
Do you mind
I
if
understand that.
Do you mind if I take a look?
Sure. I mean, are you a medicine man?
A little bit, something like that.
Scaling you up, looking you up and down. The sun's just barely finally getting over Thornridge Bluff. And you're actually finally starting to get some degree of direct rays as opposed to illuminating the sky above you. You take a glance over this half-elf's arm. There's definitely some scars of where like skin is healed over haphazardly. But as you try to move it, it's quite stiff. It doesn't want to move at all. You can see he still has sort of functionality in his shoulder, like the ball joint of his shoulder to an extent, but not a ton.
I'll try to punch him.
Oh, don't try and punch him. I ask him, were you handling any sort of... Did this happen in winter when you were bringing in firewood?
Sorry, say again?
Oh, I asked him, Howell said this started happening to him after he brought in some firewood in the winter. Does that sound familiar?
No, I mean, it's been like this on and off for months, like getting worse. Think it gets better, it gets a little bit worse. So going back, maybe fall. We just finished harvest when it started acting up.
Didn't feel like you got a splinter or anything?
No, nothing like that. Felt itchy for a little while, a little bit of pain. Had a few sores, but they healed over. Um, that was it.
And the harvest you're working with right abouts here?
No, all over. Uh, all our land goes from about a stone's throw that direction. He gestures off to one side, where you had initially thought maybe you could have camped also, but then chose this spot as a little bit better. To the far side of that hill yonder, and it gestures off to the other side. But all over the place.
And it's right on the edge of the pinwood.
Pinwood's about 300 yards away.
And how far from the pinwood was the snow beetle land?
Snow Beetle's the next property closer to Elderthorn. So the far side of that one hill. Like, you guys would have approached the Pinwood initially and then try to move away from some of the farmland and then found a spot that looked clear, just happened to be on someone's land. So you had traveled northeast along the Pinwood Zone before you had found this location, this sleep. So,
Hey, Creed.
Yep.
Aeolus will pull you away and will speak quietly. What if the Pinwood's curse is expanding?
I mean, I don't know what that would even mean. It's not like the trees get petrified. They bleed, but it's connected to it somehow. And I mean, we
Well,
know there's something going on in there.
What if the soil is starting to become?
Why don't we go to the very edges of these farms and check ourselves?
Yeah.
I turn back to the farmer and its two boys. Besides Howell and your father, anyone else you know talking about stiff limbs, hands?
The younger of the two, 14, 15 probably. Sort of, I mean, I think he sort of looks at his dad for, sort of a iffy approval. Let me grab the name. Where is it? Oh, I think Joel was talking about some stiffness. He used to work the next farm up. The kid looks that way. Ma had me deliver some food for him last week. He don't work no more, sir.
He's worse than your father.
He seems to have trouble moving about.
I turn to Aeolus. I think we're finding a direction. We need to go to this Joel's farm right now.
That's Jol.
Thank you. I'm sorry for trespassing.
He's a big feller like you. Sort of points at you, Siegfried.
I turn to the kids. Be careful of what you pick up with your hands. Make sure to use gloves for anything. Firewood, rocks, tilling the soil. We don't know how this is spreading, okay? Tell your friends too.
Sort of get some cocked eyebrows at your recommendations, but All right. The father of the younger two. All right. Thank you for your warnings. We'll take care of ourselves. It's just a little stiffness.
Sure. Thank you, and we'll leave your land right away. And I started heading towards Joel's farm.
Okay.
Is there like
What
a?
are we doing? We are not sleeping. Oh God.
Yeah, you
What
guys
is in
still have
stores?
another
Oh,
hour
okay.
of
We'll
rest.
finish the long. Yeah, well, I guess. I just asked them, can we just have at least 2 more hours before we go? I'll pay you whatever you want.
You're fine.
Okay.
It's just potatoes in the ground.
Thank you.
It is.
And the rest of you can go back to sleep in secret. We'll finish the watch.
Okay. The rest is completed. Um, after you complete the rest, you're headed further north along
Yeah,
the
I want.
from
So
one farm to the next.
so going from Howell's to the Half Howell's farms and then to Joel's, we're basically heading north along the 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, this seems like there's a direction to this. I mean, Howell was the furthest away and the least affected. The Half was closer and more affected, and now it seems like Joel is the closest and the most affected. Whatever this is, its source seems to be somewhere up north.
Hopefully. Hopefully it's not affecting all of the farmers, and they all as well just side-eye Elam.
I just say I don't think his family's farm. His family's farm is it by the Pinwood?
No, his family's farm
Yeah.
is closer to Elderthorn. It's on the northern region of it, but it is closer to the Troll Run.
Okay. Yeah. The jury's out on that. So yeah, I start trying to find my way to Joel's farm.
Okay. About an hour passes, and you find you're wandering through what looks to be like more natural landscape, and then you spot what appears to be a small hovel. Not much bigger than the home that Aeolus is being built. Although there's plenty of space to have a larger structure here. There's a small trail of smoke coming up out of a chimney in the center of it.
I go and knock on the door.
One sec. It's a shuffling sound. The door opens, and particularly frail-looking human opens up the door. His eyes are sunken. He's bald. Early in the season for visitors. What can I do for you?
Hello, my name is Siegfried, and
Joel, at your service.
well, I work for the Watch, and I've actually taken over for some of Badiana's cases recently. And
Oh,
did she come talk to you recently?
not recently.
Maybe in the past couple of months.
Yeah, last few months, yeah. Speaking of, she said to say some. Yeah. I remember. Nice lady. She hasn't been back by though. She said she was gonna stop back by.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna be taking over for her, but I'm a little bit less skilled than she was at certain things. But I'm trying to figure out some things for myself, you know. Why don't we?
Sort of looks up at you. It looks like he at one point might have been a very tall man, but now he's sort of stooped over something. Come in.
Why don't we go sit down now?
Yeah,
Maybe Willem can get some food going.
I got food on. It's not yours though.
That's
Grab a
fine.
square of floor.
Oh, sure.
Sort of
I sit down.
hobbles in. You can see he's sort of limping around. Looks like movement's quite painful. What'll it be?
So we're investigating the stiffness that's been affecting the farmers around here. So far, we found out that the Howl Boy's hand has been affected. Your half-elf neighbors, the father has been affected, and they told us you've been quite affected as well.
That's not good.
Check
I
on
mean,
yes.
I don't know. Do you guys want any tea? Sorry,
Sure.
get my manners.
I will gladly take some tea.
Yeah, tea. Sort of gets a consensus of who wants it and who doesn't. Hobbles over to
Some ale too?
No, that stuff will kill you.
That hasn't
I
killed
agree
me.
with him.
Takes a tea kettle, and doesn't go over towards the fire in the center, and goes over to what looks to be a large butcher's block, and pulls out a piece of looks to be slate of some sort, like a black slate, like almost like a cutting board that you would slide out of a countertop. He slides this out of the butcher's block and places it on top, then places the tea kettle on top of that. I'll be ready in a few. And sidles back over and sits back down.
I have a nice flavor if you want to try something new, and I'll take out the pouch of tea from Matron Tooth
You
she gave me.
hand it over.
Mm.
He gives it a whiff. Oh my. That's Black Boss. Nice. Yeah, sure. If you're sharing.
Sure. Been carrying it around for a while now.
He just sort of
Put it
holds
to
it.
use.
Sort of holds it in one of his gnarled hands. Rather than having to get up again and put it next to the kettle. I'll wait for it to boil anyway.
How long have you been experiencing his illness?
I mean, what part of it? I got a list. Metaphorically speaking. Can't really write that much anymore.
And did it all happen at once, or did it slowly spread?
No, it was a slow process.
Okay.
I've had a few people come around, not just Batty Anna, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. No luck, so it's my lot in life. I'll take it.
Well, you managed to do well for yourself.
Yeah.
Regardless, do you mind if I take a quick look? Is it everywhere? Your hands and legs, your hips?
The stiffness, yeah. But I mean, that's not all.
Well, tell me everything.
Well, I mean, nowadays it's hard to chew things, so mostly liquids going in, or soft things. And it's all liquids coming out.
What was the last thing that you tended to on your fields before the stiffness?
That would have been years ago. They've just been let grow at this point. I couldn't tell you truthfully. Memory's not what it once was. It get turned around easily now. Last crop, I think it was carrots.
And where at
Yeah.
on your
Oh no,
property?
that was the last crop that I had on here before I let the help go and just let stuff started to grow on the land.
And did any of your help also
Not that,
complain about the stiffness?
not that I know of. Like I said, it was what? I don't think so. They most likely got work on any of the other ones around here, but didn't follow up with them if that's what you'd be asking. Got
Well,
I've been weak a lot since then. Like it didn't all come at once. Started getting tired more easily. And like, oh man, I must have worked not more than an hour or two a day when we finished up that carrot harvest. And that was it for me. Now it's just been some of the my friends around here will drop off food every now and then, keep me going, but I'm ready. I don't
Would
know.
you
Doesn't feel like I'm gonna be here much longer. No ways.
would you mind if I take a look around your property or land?
Yeah, by all means.
and Joel,
Don't
another question.
got any kids of my own to pass it to anyway, so it'll be divided up amongst the rest of them.
Another question, Joel.
Yeah.
North of your farm, what's there?
Another farm. That one's run by. Sort of looks like he racks his brain for a moment. Lakakos. I'll put that in chat.
Do you know if anyone in their farm has been having trouble like you?
Not that I know of. Kakos is a good sort of feller. His wife's been bringing by eggs for me, and they're good for eating.
Yeah, the people here seem to really care about each other. I'm glad you're getting some out. At least I'm sorry I couldn't do anything about it for you.
That's fine. I mean, it would have been nice if you could do something before this all disappeared. He just sort of rubs his head. This was, I don't know, 2 months ago. Just all started falling out. Gone within like a week or two.
What? It all happened. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I had hair like that. As he gestures at Dunnan.
Do you know what you were doing right before your hair fell out?
Nah, I mean, this just existed.
Yeah, because that was much after you stopped being an asshole.
There we go. He sort of gets up. He goes over, and you can see steam coming out of the nozzle of the tea kettle. Goes over, moves it off of the piece of slate, and gives a whiff of the tea bag that you handed to him. Sort of reaches in and sort of pinches with two fingers and his thumb, like a good wad of the tea, and just sort of sprinkles it in the kettle. I'll let that sit for a couple. Puts the slate back into the butcher's block.
After we have some tea with you, I think me and my group are gonna look around your property for a bit, and then we might even go speak to the Lakakos. But thank you for your information.
Excuse me. As he tries to finish saying "my pleasure," he goes over to a bucket and hurls a little bit. Sorry.
I rub his back as he's sort of like it's all right.
It's over within like a minute. Sorry. It comes and it goes.
It makes sense. I don't think your stomach is working normally, unfortunately.
I don't think so either. Sort of looks. Sits back down. What's your passive, Siegfried?
Sorry, I have to refresh roll 20 in 1 second.
Oh, good.
think it's 15, the same as Donan's.
It's 16.
16. Okay. In the average light on the interior of his home, see the vomit that is now occupying the bucket. Looks a little bit bloody, also.
I just here I don't know if this will help long term, but it may help you feel better for a little bit. And I just give him a level 2 cure wounds.
Nice and warm. Thank you.
And then I will also cast a lesser restoration on him.
Okay.
In case that helps anything.
Okay. He goes about pouring the tea into various shaped clay mugs for all of you who wish to have it. Who is having the tea?
I will have some.
Well, Donan too.
Hello, guys.
Yes, I'll have some.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll assume Aeolus probably does as well. And Willem. It's quite good. It's got a sort of an earthy, tangy flavor, but there's a hint of spice on the back end of it. It's quite tasty and as hearty as you could possibly expect a tea to be, but it's good. And he sort of cracks a smile. That is quite good. It's been a while since I've had black moss. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
He sort of hands the rest of the tea bag back to you. But yeah, I mean, feel free to look around the property as much as you want.
Yeah. While we take a little break to drink tea with Joel, I'll just add, do you mind if I play a tune, Joel?
By all means. So he sort of enjoys his tea. And we'll pick up there next session.
Yeah. And I'll just do a song about the bloody mad dogs again.
Sounds good.